Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Sims 4 build. Just a build because it's Little Town. Today we are working on the Little Town build by adding a bookstore to it. There is no custom content. It's all debug items, and you should probably have move objects if you decide to place this lot. I used it a lot around this place, so it kind of might get janky if it's not turned on. It is done, kind of. I haven't uploaded it to the gallery yet, but I will by the end of this week, just because I wanted to add a little bit more to the exterior of the building. I just wanted to add some more streetlights and things like that. So I'm not sure if I'll do that off camera or on camera, but it still needs to be done, and then I will upload this to the gallery. It is done. All the interior buildings are done, which is great. So while I was building the diner, I seen that Debug had a bunch of like books that stood up and like had like stacks underneath them. So it gave me this idea of building this little bookshop. And I was super excited to be doing it because I love bookshops. They smell so good and they're so cute. And this is also the smallest shop on the entire lot. It's just like a 5x6 little hole in the wall, which I thought was pretty fitting because bookshops are usually like very tiny, very cluttered. Unless you're going to like, big name Chapters or Indigo or whatever fancy bookshop you shopping at. But I like to go to like little tiny things. You just find like more books that are just not normal, and also like the person running the shop isn't just some minimum wage employee. It's someone who clearly cares about books. And I'll just be like, what do you like? And they'll be like, well, I like this. And I'm like, that's amazing. I will read that. Thank you. So that's what I do in order to get new books, because I'll never choose a book. Like, I can't. It's just so hard for me to just pick a book. But if someone's like, you should try this one, I'll be like, all right, I'll read it. Let me see. And that's how I get most of my books, which I love book fairs because usually it's authors who, aren't really big name brand enough to have their stuff published. And they've kind of just made a few copies on their own. And you just find the most amazing books that way. Which I think is kind of like a dying breed because the internet is a thing. And if you wanted to read sort of unpopular, not really unpopular, but not popular, like not mainstream authors, the internet's got them everywhere. Like there's so many websites dedicated to just, being an author and creating stuff and putting it out there. But it's always good to have like a good old fashioned paperback or something that you can bring wherever you want to without internet. So I like book fairs. That's my favorite thing. So yeah, this is kind of just like, it reminds me of this bookshop that I used to go to when I lived like sort of on the dead end of a city one time. And it was literally like covered floor to ceiling in books, and it was super small. And the dude had a desk, and I believe there was a back room because he used to repair books as well, but I'd never seen it, so it didn't make its way into this build. But it is based off of his little bookshop, and he used to recommend the best books to me. And I don't know if his bookshop is still there, but it was a great bookshop, and I liked it. This is kind of like, that bookshop was kind of the inspiration for this. Although that bookshop was like far more narrow and long than it was wide and short as this one I have made. But just the general idea of just like super cluttered bookshop. And I spend a lot of time searching for all the debug books. And as you can see, heavily using move objects in order to get them, in a place I want. By like just sliding them around, and then sort of, if you get the height on the table or the desk or whatever by placing it there, and then you move the desk away, and then you slide the whatever you want to place there. It won't count as taking slots up on the desk, which is nice. And your items will be level with the desk and not floating as if you use 9 to raise it up with move objects, which is pretty good. So I used it a lot for this one, even though like it's not the fact that I wanted, you know, the spaces on the desk to be free or the tables. I just wanted the books to be more smooshed together and more random than they were like organized. Because like in my mind, this is just a messy, cluttered bookshop with too many books and not enough space. And I was playing with the idea of adding more bookshelves, but I was just like, that's maybe enough. Because, I mean, they don't really do anything. I figured lining one wall was nice enough. And then I'll check tables and, like, random books, like, from clutter and whatnot will be sort of thrown everywhere on the floors and the bookshelf itself. And I do put a little seating area. Oh, yeah, the little diploma. The guy who actually ran the bookstore was like a PhD in physics. And I was just like, and he's just like, this makes me happy. And I'm like, you know what? You're amazing, dude. And I will buy all the books. And like, he did his whole PhD in physics. And then he decided, you know what? I just want to open a bookshop. And he did that. And it was amazing. It was the greatest little bookshop ever. So I thought I would do this. I don't even know his name. Can't even remember what the bookshop was called. I was like early 20s, late teens when I moved out that way into like my very first apartment on my own. So it was about 8 years ago. I can't remember. Can't remember anything, but I just remember the bookshop and I remember the smell of it, and it smelled amazing. Old books smell amazing. But not old, unloved books. Those just smell like sadness and mold. But old, loved books smell like heaven. Oh, I'm so tired. I just woke up. I'm always tired when I record these, and I should stop being tired. I should start having a schedule when I record them. That way I won't be tired, you know? Oh, yeah. So lots of clutter. I decided to stack the stacks of books with stacks of books. Stacks on stacks on stacks. And I do change up their colors to sort of make them less matchy, but they kind of do match. And I'm just like, I could have done more. But it was so finicky because with the newest update, placing items has gotten really difficult for some reason. Like, I find my cursor bouncing off of areas where I want it to be, and, like, I don't understand what's going on, but it's after the stairs update, and everything's sort of just janky, so I'm kind of just trying to be like, oh, just get it done, and don't anger the Sims gods, pretty much. So, I wasn't going too crazy with, like, trying to make things, you know, super fancy, not really fancy, but like super like creative, because I was worried the game was gonna hate me for it and just make it impossible for me to do, just because of how buggy it's been. But I think we are nearing the end. Just looking for some more clutter items, and I found that little book trolley, which I was like, that's amazing, that is perfect, I will take that. And also a magazine rack, because, you know, just because he's a bookstore doesn't mean he don't have a magazine rack. But if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I also do live streams on Twitch. While I don't normally always do The Sims, I do play a lot of games, but The Sims has been more, and I'm thinking about starting a live stream sort of series of The Sims Medieval, which is kind of one of my favorite things. But you can catch me on Twitch at AG StefanyRed. And hopefully I have this up on the gallery by the end of the week. I'm pretty sure I will. I just have to go in and give it a few more final touches, and I'll let you know in Wednesday's video if it is up on the gallery for sure. If you wanted to download any of my builds or past builds or whatever, you can simply search StefanyRed on the Sims 4 gallery. Thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing day.